never thought a simple wrong number would mess up my life like this. About a month ago, I moved into this small apartment on the edge of town. It was cheap, kinda old, but it was all I could afford with my job at the convenience store. The landlord, Mr. Jenkins, seemed nice enough, just an old guy who didn't talk much. The first week was normal. I was settling in, putting up some posters, figuring out which neighbors were cool and which ones to avoid. My routine was simple. Work, come home, eat something, watch videos till I fell asleep. Normal stuff. Then the calls started. It was exactly 3 a.m. when my phone first rang. I remember because I checked the time and got annoyed that someone would call so late. I was half asleep when I answered. "Hello, is Daniel there?" The voice was kinda raspy, like someone who smoked too much. "Sorry, wrong number. There's no Daniel here," I mumbled and hung up. I didn't think much of it until the next night. 3 a.m. again. Same question about Daniel. I explained again that they had the wrong number. The person just hung up without saying sorry. This kept happening every single night. Always at 3 a.m. Always. Asking for Daniel. After 2 weeks of this, I was beyond tired. My work was suffering because I couldn't sleep properly, always waiting for that stupid phone call. On the 15th night, I snapped when the phone rang. "Listen, there is no Daniel here. Stop calling this number. What is wrong with you?" I yelled into the phone. There was this long pause, like really long. I almost thought they hung up. Then the voice said, "I know you're not Daniel. Daniel lived there before you. I'm trying to warn you." Click. They hung up. I couldn't sleep after that. The next morning, I waited outside for Mr. Jenkins to collect rent. When he came by, I asked about the previous tenant. Was there someone named Daniel living in my apartment before me? Mr. Jenkins dropped his keys. His face got all weird, like he'd seen something scary. "Why you asking about that?" He looked around like someone might be listening. "Just curious," I lied. "Someone keeps calling for him." After a lot of hesitation, he finally admitted that yes, a guy named Daniel Merrick had lived in my place, but had died there under what he called unusual circumstances. He wouldn't tell me more, just mumbled something about respecting the dead, and walked away really fast. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Daniel. What happened to him? Why was someone trying to warn me? I started looking around the apartment more carefully. In the bedroom closet, I noticed this part of the wall that seemed different from the rest. The paint was slightly newer. I pressed against it and heard a hollow sound. Using a butter knife, I managed to pry open what turned out to be a small, hidden compartment. Inside were these old envelopes, all wrinkled and yellowed. Dozens of them. They contained handwritten letters from someone named Marcus. The letters described how this Marcus person watched Daniel, followed him around town, waited outside his work. The handwriting got messier and the content more disturbing with each letter. The last one was dated exactly 1 day before Daniel supposedly died. I was freaking out reading these when my phone rang. 3 a.m. exactly. I answered with shaky hands. "Hello?" The voice just said, "Check your kitchen window." My legs felt like jelly as I walked to the kitchen. I pulled back the curtain just enough to peek outside. Pressed against the glass was a face, pale, with these weird, intense eyes. I recognized it immediately from a photo that was tucked between the letters. It was Marcus. But according to the dates on the letters and what my landlord hinted at, Marcus should have been dead for over a year. I dropped the phone and ran out of the apartment. Spent the night at a motel and called the police the next day. They checked but found nothing. No fingerprints on the window, no hidden compartment in the closet, and Mr. Jenkins suddenly claimed he never heard of any Daniel. I moved out that same week. But here's the thing that still makes me cold all over. Sometimes my phone still rings at 3 a.m. I never answer it anymore. And sometimes when I'm about to fall asleep, I swear I can hear someone whisper, "Daniel," right next to my ear. The weirdest part? Last week I found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a newspaper clipping about a man named Jaden, who died in my old apartment 3 months after I left. The cause of death? Unknown. I need to tell someone about this. Maybe writing it down will help me make sense of what happened. I'm not good with words, but I'll try my best. Last month, I saw this ad online about a pharmaceutical study. They were offering $5,000 for just 2 weeks staying at their facility. Was behind on rent, and my car needed repairs, so it seemed like perfect timing. The place looked professional enough. Clean hallways, staff in white coats, clipboards everywhere. The woman at the front desk, Dr. Linden, had this weird smile that never reached her eyes. She explained they were testing some new anti-anxiety. Med side effects might include drowsiness, dry mouth, maybe vivid dreams. Normal stuff, I thought. They assigned me as Subject 7 and put me in a room with this guy named Malachi who snored really loud. My first few days were boring. Take pills, answer questions, give blood samples. I had my phone charger break on. Day 3, which sucked because I couldn't even watch videos to pass time. By day 5, 3 people had already quit. The staff said they couldn't handle the regimen, whatever that meant. I started noticing things, like how the nurses always wrote more than they needed to when checking our vitals, or how sometimes I'd wake up feeling groggy, like I hadn't really slept. On day 8, I got up to use the bathroom at night and noticed something reflecting in the vent, a tiny camera lens. I checked behind the picture frames after that. More cameras. They were watching us everywhere. When I asked Dr. Linden about the cameras, she didn't even look surprised, just said real calm, "We monitor for self-harm behaviors, standard protocol." But she kept looking at the floor, not at me. That night, I couldn't sleep and overheard 2 staff members in the hallway. "The results from Subject 7 are remarkable," one said. "Continue the night dosing," said the other. I freaked out. Night dosing? I checked my arm in the bathroom light and found fresh injection marks I know weren't there before. They were giving us stuff while we slept. I packed my stuff at 4 a.m. and told them I was leaving. This nurse, Trent, tried super hard to get me to stay. Offered another $1,000, said we were almost at breakthrough point. I took a bus, home that morning. 3 weeks later, a plain envelope shows up at my door. Inside was $15,000 cash and a note saying, "Compensation for your continued participation." The really messed up part? When I tried to get my medical records from the study, the hospital had no record of any pharmaceutical trial. The company's website? Gone. The building now houses a dental office that's been there for years, according to the receptionist. Sometimes I wake up at night thinking I hear someone writing notes outside my bedroom, and my arm. Sometimes I find those small marks again. I think they're still watching me, still dosing me, still getting their remarkable results. I never meant to stop at that rundown motel. My old Honda had been making this weird, clicking sound for like 20 miles, and the check engine light kept blinking on and off. With the next town over an hour away, and night falling fast, that flickering vacancy sign seemed like my only choice. The parking lot had these huge cracks with weeds growing through them. I counted only 3 other cars there. One had a smashed window covered with plastic. The night manager didn't even look up when I walked in, just kept staring at his phone while sliding me a key. The room number was 17, but I had only counted 14 doors from the parking lot. Weird. My room smelled like cigarettes and cheap cleaner. I put my bag down and noticed something that bothered me. The walls seemed wrong somehow, like the room felt smaller inside than it looked from outside. I figured I was just tired. I picked up fast food on my way in and forgot to throw the bag away, so the whole room started smelling like old fries. I tried watching videos on my phone to relax, but kept feeling like someone was watching me. At about 2 a.m., I woke up to whispering sounds coming through the air vent. At first, I thought it was just the building settling or something. Then I clearly heard someone say my name, Bryce. That freaked me out bad because I'd paid cash and told them my name was Brian. Around 3 a.m., I noticed something that made no sense. A thin line of light appearing under what should have been just a solid wall. When I pressed my ear against it, I could hear movement. Someone walking back and forth. I used the motel's crappy Wi-Fi to search the address. My hands were shaking so bad I had to type it 3 times. What I found made me want to throw up. 5 missing persons reports connected to this place over the last few years. I grabbed my stuff and ran to my car. It wouldn't start. The highway that had trucks and cars passing all evening was completely empty now. No headlights anywhere. The night manager suddenly appeared at my window, smiling for the first time. He asked if I needed help while holding something metal behind his back. I left everything and just ran through the woods until I reached a gas station 8 miles away. When police checked it out the next day, they said the motel had been officially closed for years. They found my room exactly as I described it, except for one detail. There was no wall vent or hidden room anywhere. Sometimes I still wake up hearing whispering, even in my new apartment 3 states away.